Good evening. Welcome to this wonderful article called How I Learned to Stop Absorbing Other People's Emotions for Sensitive People. Sometimes I think I need a spare heart to feel all the things that I feel. That quote was from Sanabar Khan. I felt her agony and loneliness as if it were my own. Even as I write that sentence, my eyes well up and heaviness fills my heart. Then, I'm reminded to apply the advice I give others. My mom was a special person, a sensitive soul, just like me. Actually, so much like she was, yet so different. One of the differences between us is that I had an opportunity to observe her life challenges. I saw her challenges and reflected within myself, and I made a conscious choice to find healthy ways to cope. You see, my mom was a deep feeler and felt the emotions of people near and far around her. I imagine it was her strong empathy and personal challenges that led her to want to help others as a wounded healer, in a sense. But as a helper and healer, she struggled with mental and emotional health over many years. Witnessing her life moved me to learn how to regulate my own sensitive emotions and set healthy boundaries. Sometimes I wonder if not knowing how to manage her empathy is actually what made her so sick. There were many ways to understand the challenges my mom battled before her death in 2007. Quick pause for those of you that don't know, my mom passed away in 2015, who was also a very sensitive person. From her perspective, she had a rare, unknown physical illness. Someone who knew her may have thought she was manipulative and attention-seeking. Some would see an addiction to pain medication. Psychologists would diagnose her with psychosomatic disorder, borderline personality disorder, and bipolar disorder. Maybe all and none of those explanations are true. But perhaps she didn't have any disorder at all. I'm not really asserting that to be true, but merely posing a curious question. What if she was just a sensitive, empathetic person who lacked the skills to manage the pain within her and all around her? What if one unhelpful coping mechanism led to a slew of other ailments? I believe my mom felt real physical and emotional pain. I struggled to fully understand her over the years, but after many years of reflection, I now trust her experience because of what I know about my own sensitive nature. As sensitive people, we may present a high emotion and feel easily overwhelmed by our senses. We're often told by the world that there's something wrong with us. I certainly have had this. And when we think there's something inherently wrong with us, we tend to tuck these traits away in our shadow or unconscious mind. I stuffed them into my body, into my stomach. I put them wherever I could because I didn't know where else to go. Well, now we've not only tucked away our core nature, but possibly the empathetic depth that goes along with being a sensitive person as well. There may be a part of us that knows that we're emotional sponges, yet we may choose to ignore our nature without really learning how to manage our empathy in such a way that prevents disease and fosters well-being. This was me for a long time. It was me for about 32 years. Not only am I prone to feeling depleted and drained in situations with certain people, but emotional pain of others tends to show up in my physical body. When I overfeel, my throat feels like it's closing, and as my chest constricts, my chronic back pain flares up. Interesting. Not my boyfriend, was complaining of one of those small, painful pimples inside his nose recently. I got one of those as well. We joked about sympathy pains, but I do wonder sometimes. I felt the emotional pain of my family, my friends, clients, strangers. And it's not a simple, oh, I feel bad for him. It's feeling the despair and the rejection of that teenager whose parents didn't pick them up when he was released from the behavioral hospital where I worked. It's a deep anguish of being that relative who feels no one believes her and she's all alone. I feel challenged to find the right language to express it all because the deep heartache and heavy burden is a feeling, not a word. It can only be felt. The thing is that no matter how painful it is to feel the weight of the world in my body, I wouldn't trade my depth and ability to feel for anything. The empathy that comes with a high sensitivity is a true gift if we know how to use it. We need more kind, compassionate souls if we want to heal the world. Sensitive people have a natural capacity to show kindness because of our profound empathy. Deep empathy gives us a special strength in relating to connecting to others, and when we genuinely care, we are more apt to be able to understand another person in a way that not all people can. Our sincerity can help us to develop meaningful and fulfilling relationships. Relationships that offer us a chance not only to grow a deep sense of connection with another human being, but also an opportunity to learn about ourselves. Both of these are integral to this human experience. Yet, regulating our empathy is key to stopping the flood of emotion from overwhelming our ability to cope and care for our well-being. If we want to stop absorbing emotional baggage from others, it all starts with taking care of our physical, social, mental, emotional, and spiritual needs. This is now actually starting to apply for people that aren't so sensitive. I know it sounds like a whole world is harping on the idea of self-care sometimes, but there is a big reason for this. When our own immune system or energy is depleted, we become a perfect sponge for sopping up emotions and disease. We must take care of ourselves to avoid absorption in the first place. So number one, when you notice feeling a heavy emotion, start by labeling what you are feeling. Labeling helps us to bring in a state of pause, so we'd be taking a deep breath, which can help us to gain a little distance from the emotional experience in that key moment. Some of you may have noticed this recently as people online or in your community are sharing things that are triggering you. Instead of reacting, just take a moment, step back, take a deep breath, maybe a few, and understand what's happening inside me right now. Why am I reacting like this? Number two, ask yourself whether what you're feeling is yours, someone else's, or maybe a mix of the two. It can be difficult to discern the difference sometimes, and it may take practice. One approach I like to take is if I think I might be feeling a particular person's stuff, then I'll imagine the person as a completely whole, content, and healthy person. Then I'll revisit my own experience and see if I still feel the same way. This played out in a recent loss in my life while I was experiencing my own grief, when my relative who was closest to this person seemed to start to heal, and I realized that so much of my sadness instantly released as well. Go figure. The moment you catch yourself feeling emotions that aren't yours, raise your awareness of what is happening within inside you. It can help to say a word like compassion to yourself as a way of intentionally focusing on what you can to be as supportive rather than allowing yourself to be overpowered by that emotion. Number four, take a deep breath and notice where in your body you feel the most calm, grounded, or neutral. It might be as simple as your toe or your finger. Bring your attention to that place in your body and allow it to be a centering force to keep you grounded while you process and release any feelings that you may have just absorbed. Sometimes just having one calm place in your body can serve as a resource when the rest of your body is feeling paralyzed or overwhelmed. 5. Return the other person's emotions to them. It is not your or anyone's responsibility to carry other people's emotional distress. And equally important, it helps absolutely no one. Talk about a waste of energy. Try saying to yourself, I'm letting this emotional pain that is not mine go now. Remember that the other people have to go through their own process in order to grow, But you holding on to that is actually holding them and you back. 6. Use visualizations to fully release the emotions. Where am I? I find that it helps me to visualize a waterfall flowing through my body as a final release of any residual emotional gunk that I might be carrying. So in the shower every morning, actually even a better way is like just imagine that water is just washing off anything that's not serving you. Like pretty much every day, just like anything from yesterday or from my past, just clean it off my arms, off my chest, off my throat, off my face, off my hair. You know, soap can try to take off all the dirt, but it doesn't take care of the spiritual and emotional stuff. So you gotta do that yourself. All at the center of all the above steps is building an awareness to know when we're allowing ourselves to absorb and adopt the tools to reduce this propensity. As a sensitive person, your empathy is a gift that the world needs, and is up to each of us to channel our empathy into greater compassion so that we can remain strong and well. So, beautiful article written by Melissa Renzi. Thank you, Melissa, for that. That's also on tinybuddha.com. And also, I just want to talk, there's like roughly 20% of the human population, so roughly 2 billion people that are like this and constantly being overwhelmed. And so the next time that someone is overreacting or maybe not, reacting the way that you want them to, step back with a little compassion, have a deep breath, and maybe just go within yourself to understand that they might actually be processing more than you think. In fact, we're talking about our senior citizens that are struggling. Many of them are sensitive as well, but also are homeless and are mentally ill. These people are generally sensitive people, and many of them are becoming medicated with medications because they don't have these tools. No one taught them how to navigate their experiences at a young age, and next thing you know, they started turning to drugs and or alcohol to suppress them, making things worse, stirring things up. If you are a sensitive person, I highly recommend cleaning up your life, cleaning up your diet, making sure you're exercising, getting in nature, surrounding yourself with positive people, eating really healthy food when all possible. I've certainly had my challenges with sugar and junk food. So these are all things that as a sensitive person I could just like detach myself with, but they did not serve me at the end of the day. They were very quick fixes that usually left me hurting more at the end. So now moderation in everything. I hope you have a great day. I hope to all the sensitive people that you hear my words well and Melissa's words, and that you're able to go within yourself, and the next time you're feeling overwhelmed, ask yourself, take a few deep breaths, is this mine? Because I would say 95% it's someone else's. And so let them deal with that. Go back to your life. It's beautiful.